Hi and welcome, it's Barbara from 49 Dragonflies, and I'm so excited to share this video with you because I'm so happy with the outcome. But first, I wanted to show you 3 items I got from Goodwill. I haven't been there in a few weeks and I found these 3 items, and the last one I'm most excited about. It's nothing exciting at all actually, but for me it was very exciting and I'll tell you why. But first, this is a little vintage booklet that I found. This is photos of the River Rhine and all the sites that you can see along it. So most of these sites are in Germany, and it's just beautiful. I don't know what year this was from. I couldn't find any date. Judging from the pictures, maybe 60s, 70s, something like that would be my guess. Yeah, so don't know yet what I'm gonna do with that, but loving that. It was €1. Then the next item is an Austrian book about berries and wild fruit and vegetables, but mostly berries. And it's this small little booklet which has a few adorable illustrations inside. And I believe this book was €1.50. So really lucky find there. So you see, those are the kind of images, really cute. There's not a ton, but it's still totally worth it. So I will probably be scanning those and then using them in various projects. And the date of this one is, what was it, 1970 something? Yeah, 1979. And lastly, what I was most excited about was this package of 25 envelopes for €1. I never find these things at my Goodwill. And the reason why I was so excited about these is because I had just been watching a lot of videos that inspired me to make an envelope junk journal. And just to mention that I guess the channels that most inspired me to do this is, so one of them again is Maria from House of Craft by Maria, and I will link her channel down below. She has a bunch of beautiful tutorials on doing these kind of journal covers or flip books or whatever you want to call them. These, as what you just saw, are the dimensions of my envelope, but you can use any dimension you have. And the other channel that has really inspired me is Eva from Bohemian Crafting. She has amazing videos and she is also very, very talented. Both of these ladies are extremely talented. And so I thought, let me try and make my first envelope junk journal. So this is what I'm doing. I don't have a prototype. This is really my first go at this. So as you can see, these envelopes have beautiful gray tissue paper inside, which is beautiful to look at, but a pain to work with. So for the next one I'm definitely taking out tissue paper before I start this process because it really annoyed me in various steps of the process. So finally I was able to glue one flap inside the other envelope, which was like the most difficult part of the whole thing. And next I'm going to also glue down this flap to the outside of the right envelope, and that will be our basically our base of this junk journal. Now you don't have to make a junk journal out of this. You can obviously just use this as a flip book or as a folio of some sort. You can just add it to your journal without making it into a journal at all. But my purpose for making this was to make a junk journal. And so now I'm using the third envelope that I just folded around the other two, and on the back side I'm going to cut off, how much is that? I didn't, since I don't measure, I don't know, it might be an inch or 3/4 of an inch. And so first I'm gluing down that flap of that third envelope just to glue it shut. And then I'm going to take this to my trimmer and trim off that part that I marked. And as always, I have a whole bunch of supplies that I'm using in this video linked down below in the description box. So I'm not gonna say each time that it's linked down below. Just check the description box. Whatever I can, I will link. So now again, we have the issue with the tissue paper because it's all over the place, because it's not attached for the full length of the envelope. So I'm going to glue that part down so that it's not all over the place and it won't bug me, because it's going to be a pocket, so I don't want several layers inside my pocket. So now I'm just burnishing that down a little bit, and there, now we have a pocket that looks like a real pocket. And so the front is closed and the back is open. That's the idea. Next, I'm going to add this beautiful coin envelope as a flip up to the left side of my journal cover, inside journal cover. I have no idea where to get this. I wish I knew. I'm guessing this is from the States somewhere. I'm guessing with your beautiful craft shops you can get this easily. For me, this is such a treasure. I received this as a happy mail and I'm reluctant to use it because I liked hoarding it for a while, but I decided this was the journal to use it in. Next, I'm going to add this beautiful envelope, which was also a happy mail item. So again, I cannot tell you where to get this. I wish I knew. And I'm going to glue this flap on the right side of my inside cover. And for all of this, I'm using my tacky glue because I am trying to use that up. I do have one more bottle of the 3-in-1 glue, which I love so dearly in the meantime. But I also don't want to throw away my tacky glue, even though it annoys me sometimes because it makes the paper wavy, which the 3-in-1 glue does not. But I'm doing my best to use it anyway. It's like once you know how good the 3-in-1 glue is, it's really hard going back to the tacky glue. Anyway, I am closing this one pocket on the left side. You don't have to do that. You can leave it open as a pocket, but I didn't want too many pockets in this cover because I did not want to start off with making a bulky cover for my journal, because I kind of have had enough bulk in my previous journal. Or I shouldn't say previous journal, in my journal that I'm currently working on, which I needed a break from, which is why I wanted to do this. This paper that you see here is a printout, a free printout from the Old Design shop. I will link their website below. They have amazing free downloads, and this is one of them. And so I just cut my A4 sheet of paper in half. So this is going to cover the left side of my journal. And I've inked it up. I think I used, I'm not sure now what I was using, but I might have used my tea dye Distress Oxide. And now for the right side, I'm first going to insert the paper so that I can trace the opening on this envelope, because that just makes it easier to cut the way I want it to be cut. Now I'm going to cut around what I've just drawn, but I'm cutting like a few millimeters outside of that line. And after grunging that up a little bit, I am also gluing that down. So this right side is staying as a pocket. This is a scan of a German invoice that I received from my friend Angel, who also makes amazing junk journals and shadow boxes and all kinds of really, really cool things. I will link Angel's channel down below as well. And so she found this, I think, at a flea market, and I'm so thankful she gave this to me, so I scanned it. And I was here trying to decide which part of this printout to use as my front. So that's what I chose, and after also inking that up a little bit with my tea dye, I glued that on. So this is the front cover. Now this is the inside. Now we have to cover the back side. And I'm just using another part of that printout. Same process, I inked it up with the tea dye, and I'm gluing that down now. So this was the envelope that goes around it. So obviously we also need to cover this up with some beautiful papers. And for one side I have this paper, which is also from the old design shop. And I'm going to measure. I always measure a little smaller than the actual part that I want to cover, because I do want to leave a little bit of a border, which we will then later ink up. So you won't really see any of the white anywhere once we're done. And now for the other side, I'm using another invoice that I have scanned, which is also from Angel. And in the end I decided to fold it the other way than I originally had intended, because I liked the one side better. So this is going to be the outside. Just making sure it has a nice crease there. Now I'm going to ink up the crease and all of the edges. So this will go around now. So there you see these are both invoices, but the one on the left there you see is just printed smaller. All right, next step is I'm going to grunge up all of the edges of everything. And then I'm going to punch a hole in that corner of that third envelope. I'm going to insert a rose gold eyelet, which is going to help with the twine we're going to insert later for closing it up. This is a technique I have seen from Luna Rosa, I think is her name. I will link her channel as well. She makes really gorgeous traveler's notebook junk journals as well. She's also a huge inspiration. And now I have sewn on with my sewing machine with some dark blue thread this envelope. So I just ran it once down the middle. And next I'm going to cover up the spine a little bit with some cheesecloth. So I'm going, since I don't have one piece that is long enough, I'm just going to cut two pieces pretty much the same width, and I'm going to glue those down. Most of this will be covered up with this signature anyway. And I'm again using the tacky glue, and I'm gluing it in so that the cheesecloth sticks out just a little bit on the top and the bottom, because I do enjoy that grungy look, and it adds another texture, I guess, which is always fun. And I want to encourage you to try your own method. If you enjoy this kind of craft, then just try your own method of making a booklet. There's so many different versions you can make, and yeah, it's just so fun to experiment with all the flips and tucks and pockets and everything. I realized then that I kind of closed the top and bottom of that envelope, so I kind of just cut the cheesecloth there to have the full opening, which is probably not the best solution for this. But since this is my prototype, this is for experimenting, so probably the next time I will do something differently. Probably I'll cut those flaps off first, and then I don't have to deal with them. Now I have this beautiful vintage ephemera, which I probably got from one of my Instagram contacts, and I will link again the list below of Instagram accounts that I have bought vintage ephemera from. And so I cut that to fit the one side of the envelope, and I didn't want to lose that circle there, so I traced that, and I'm just backing it with a regular sheet of paper so that the punch would work better, and I'm using my small circle punch. No idea what diameter it is because it doesn't say. I'm assuming it's like 1 centimeter, which is like a little less than half an inch, I guess. And so now I am gluing that on, and I glued this with my glue stick, and now you can still see the whole reinforcement there, and I really like that. I am grunching up all the edges of that as well. Next, I also wanted to cover up the other side, and I have this beautiful ledger paper, vintage ledger paper, and so that was what I wanted to use for that side. And later I will actually do something else with that hole. I was not happy because I wasn't able to center it, but I did want to put some hole reinforcements also over those 2 holes that are there, just because I like the look of it. And so these hole reinforcements, I have just added some vintage photo on the top. That's why they are brown rather than white, but they need to be non-glossy hole reinforcements for the distress oxide to actually stick on it. Next, I have this beautiful piece of ephemera, which I'm going to add to this other envelope. Easiest way to work with fragile papers is to use a ruler for tearing rather than your trimmer, because the trimmer will probably chop right into it and rip it completely. I know that from experience. Okay, what do we do next? It's so fun not knowing what the final product is gonna look like, but to just play around with it. I think that's the most fun part. So next I decided to grunge up the inside of this envelope using my vintage photo because that's dark enough. And then we still have this little piece of the envelope that we had cut off when we made the back pocket. So I am removing the annoying tissue paper and this, yeah, I'm gluing it shut, and you will see then why I don't like this tacky glue for things like this, because once it's all glued down, look how wrinkly it gets. The other side is more wrinkly than this side. But anyway, I will cover it up with some more paper. So this was a scrap left from the German invoice, which I am now tearing to the size to fit this scrap. So I'm going to cover that. So it's gonna go there, and I also wanted to cut like a slant. Now I'm inking this up again. And before gluing it down, I'm going to again put an eyelet in that one corner, again using one of the rose gold eyelets. And now I'm going to put glue on the long side and the bottom side, and this is going to be our tuck spot. There we go. Yeah, and now I wanted to tackle this this problem area because I really wasn't happy with that. So I instead wanted to just cover it up with this other hole. So just cut a square out and distress the edges, and now I'm gonna put one of my hole reinforcements on top, and the problem is solved. I like that a lot better, because that would have bothered me every time I looked at it. So that is the base, and next time we're going to work on all the embellishments and some more flip outs and pockets and stuff. So there's a lot more to come for this cover before we add the signatures. So I hope you enjoyed this, and then I hope you're going to enjoy the next part, which I'm even more excited about. So thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe if you've enjoyed this and you want to see more, and give it a like if you enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Bye.